All right, so I have to ask, because I love Outer Worlds. I think the humor is amazing, and seeing it in Outer Worlds 2 immediately punch you in the face with it, literally, has been amazing. What has the reception been like for the announcement of Outer Worlds 2?
In general, very, very positive. I think everything that we're kind of bringing forward with this sequel, in terms of more to do there, deeper RPG, better combat, I think is like really resonating with everyone.
Yeah, it's just been phenomenal, especially people who are being able to play it. Getting a lot of great feedback.
Yeah, I got to play it. It's very fun. First of all, I can't get over how gorgeous it looks. Were there any engine changes or anything else that was tweaked for Outer Worlds 2?
Yeah, we're on Unreal 5 now, so we're using Lumen, and obviously that makes it look really nice. We've been putting a lot of effort into making the visual experience also as good as the RPG experience.
The Unreal the team we worked with on the first game had never really done an Unreal 4 engine game before. So that was a new learning experience for all of us, and a lot of them graduated to this game. So even though we did change to Unreal 5, they knew a lot more about how to work with Unreal, how to do what we wanted. An RPG has very specific requirements that a lot of other games don't have in terms of how we're using the AI or tracking things. So that was actually a real learning experience for us on the first one.
So I kind of just got thrown into that, but we're not playing the same person, right? This is a whole new story with a whole new crew.
Yeah, so just in the Outer Worlds 2, you're in a completely different colony, you're a completely different commander, like everything is different. There is some linkages between them in terms of the overall setting, the story, some stuff like that, but yeah, in general, even if you had not played the first one, you'll get some context, but you'll have an experience you can just jump right into and be fine.
Okay, so I guess everyone knows that Spacer's Choice is not the best now from the opening cutscene.
Well, they'd argue with it, and the Moon Man might argue with you about it, and he does. We really wanted to bring in that corporate humor, which is like the touchstone for the game, but we wanted also to spread out. So we combined the two biggest corporations from the base game and made them one to be like their representative of like that base game corporate humor. But we also added the two other factions so that we had a lot more breadth in the style of humor and scenarios and even the depth we could bring to it.
Yeah, actually, speaking of depth, I chose the ex-convict background.
It's really popular.
It's very fun. I think it's because I'm very much a run and gun sort of person. Like, stealth is not my thing, which I love that was an option, when you could choose the two different paths. Oh, do you want to do stealth or do you want to go in loud? But it seems like, I can't really remember, it's been a while since I played the first game, but it feels like your background is a little bit more touched on by the characters around you.
Yeah, we wanted to incorporate that a lot more into it. I mean, across the board, we really wanted a lot more reactivity to all the choices you made. We had a much shorter game the first time just because of we had a shorter development cycle. We were starting from scratch with a brand new IP. So this time around, we just wanted to really go, into the depth that Obsidian's known for. So backgrounds, traits, as many skills as possible come into not only your conversations, but we have these things we're calling RPG interactables, which I'm sure you saw in the demo. Where you can examine something and it'll give you different options depending on what your skills are, and also tell you what you can't do because you're missing a skill to hopefully make you start going I'm going to do that next time I play through.
No, we just wanted to, even something like you're bringing up with the backgrounds, we wanted to make sure that those mattered a lot more in terms of the choices inside conversations, and really it's not even just in the beginning, it's throughout the entire game. We really kind of lean into that.
I did my research when I was playing, and I had read through all the different articles, all the emails. I tried so hard to bargain with that guard. Is there a way to actually get him on your side?
The one in front of the Skip Labs that you talked to on the intercom at first as well? Yes, there is. He's got a journal that you have to find so that you can talk to him. Or did you have enough speech?
I thought, no, I actually didn't opt into that. I thought about it.
Yeah, you need to have some
you need to have a speech too, because he's very well indoctrinated into that system. That system is very much about full-on brainwashing down to this mental refreshment, which I'm sure you encountered in the game. So they brainwash their citizens. Basically, if you're willing to give up any kind of self-determination, individualism, free thinking, they'll give you a life of luxury and ease. They don't even have manual labor. They have auto mechanicals doing their labor for them, but you just can't really be a human being, a fully realized human being. Let's put it that way.
Okay, well now I'm upset because I thought I had picked all the right ones. I had some emails.
You just didn't have that speech skill to put you over.
Okay, all right, now I know. Okay, that's so cool though, because for me, this is going to sound really bad, but playing Fallout, any of these RPGs, if I can't talk my way into things, I will just bash my way into things.
Sure.
So I feel like this definitely feels more geared towards that, which is great. I thought the humor at the beginning was so great with, oh yeah, the door's jammed again, you're just going to have to figure out a way in. Is that going to happen quite a lot in the story with your ship?
There are things definitely that you're going to be unlocking on the ship that over time you're going to be able to add more and more stuff. You're going to be able to do more and more things. But yeah, in general, that's we he was talking about like the RPG interactions that we kind of have everywhere. That's how we use that all over the place. Even inside of the area that you were in for the prologue area, there's lots of areas or things that you can only get into if you had certain traits or certain skills. And again, we just like really leaned into that to make sure that like your character was yours and you could just really kind of navigate the world in your way.
And there's that kind of door situation where a door is jammed. If you have engineering or brawny all the way throughout the game, you're going to encounter doors like that, where that's the only way you can get past them.
Or sometimes there's ways in that are not very obvious, like, again, going through like either the roof or the side, or maybe somebody else could open up for you, or there's just lots of different ways we can deal with that.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, great. So I should always look around at my surroundings then, essentially.
I think so, yeah.
Well, especially now that we've given you way more ways to move around the environment. You can climb things, you can get on top of things.
Obviously, I got to see just the beginning, and you did mention how the first game was a bit of a shorter game. How long can we expect this game to run?
Depends how you play it. We don't really give an hour number because it's a much bigger game, a lot more square footage, a lot more content. But we really wanted to make it so that if you really wanted to power through the main story arc, we're not going to say, no, you have to do a certain amount of side content. You obviously do so that you can get powerful enough and level up enough. But we haven't put in a lot of gates where it's like you can't get past this unless you do this. And that was our goal, so that people could play as wide or as deep as they wanted, or kind of have a shorter experience like the main game or the first game.
So technically someone could struggle bust their way all the way to the end then, if they didn't level up all the way.
I mean, I think technically you could. There's a few choke points in there that would be a little bit difficult in terms of fighting through it or sneaking through it, that just might be a little bit too high. But yeah, I mean, we made it so in general, you can kind of bypass large chunks of areas if you know where you're going and what you want to do there. We don't require you to go to a lot of different places, and it just makes it feel a little bit more open for us as well.
And hopefully we entice you to go to those places by the things you encounter along the way.
I mean, I personally love taking time in games like this to look at everything, because there's so many secrets that y'all hide in there, so I will definitely be looking for that. I did see there was the really hard mode. What will that entail for people who want to play that? Because I might be interested, but if it's permadeath, I might not.
No, it's not permadeath. It's not like anything like we did with the Supernova. So it's not like no survival elements inside of that stuff. But it is a much more difficult experience. So I think it's going to be much harder than the first game. Even in terms of combat and how those things play out. But no, we don't have any of the survival elements from Supernova.
Then what was one element that you really wanted to make sure carried over from the first game to the second?
Well, definitely the humor and the tone and just the vibe from the universe, because that's the main thing that we want the whole franchise to feel like. We did that secret level episode, 15 minutes on that anthology show, so we really wanted that to have that feel. There's a definite feel and tone to it. And that's no matter where we go in different colonies, they're kind of cut off from each other to a certain degree. Even if we come up with a totally different spin or a different type of story, it would still be based in that humor and that dark humor.
Yeah, like what Leonard said, he kind of hit it on one, which is we wanted to have those touchstones back to the first game so it feels familiar, so there's a good through line, but we also wanted to evolve that in a lot of ways. And so just very early on, I was talking with Leonard about what are the ways in which we want to push things forward, which ways do we want to refine things or really lean into it. And again, I think the idea of combining Spacer's Choice and Anti together was a good way to have that touchstone, but again, allow us to have those other factions, which you get different perspectives on what absurd humor can be in this world, so you don't hit the same points kind of over and over and over.
In your playthroughs, if you've played, what were your classes and backgrounds? What were the perks that you picked starting out and your background?
What's really interesting for me right now is that for the past 6 years, I've been playing chunks of the game. I'll go in there and test it. Maybe even a whole area at once, but I've never done a non-cheating playthrough, because I'll go to an area and if I'm testing it, I have to I'll change backgrounds, So literally about 2 weeks ago, I started a literal legitimate playthrough. and I picked Roustabout because I know that's the funniest background. And I knew I wanted speech because I like being a speech player, and I like sniping people, and I always want to integrate stealth in there, and I always fail and end up killing everybody. So this time I was kind of honest with myself, and I'm like, I'm not even going to try the stealth. I'll just go with the sniping and the talking. Explosives too. I love like luring people into mines. That's another favorite tactic of mine.
Yeah, I ended up doing something I don't normally do, which is a companion leadership build. So that was one of the first ones that I've done, and I just built an insane party where I can kind of sit back. I get a very large number of buffs and things from my companions doing a lot of work for me. But that's actually worked out pretty well on this playthrough. Too well, so we're going to actually maybe tone that down a little bit. But yeah, no, that's been a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying that one.
Does that kind of speak to your leadership style as well in building this game?
Everybody else in the front, I'm like, here you go. Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's why I did well on it. Yeah, sure. I'll go with that.
So when you adjust that in the game, you're also going to adjust that in real life?
No.
Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you so much. This is fun.
Thank you very much.